Legion.
What is up, comic fam, and welcome to the Legion of Comics. It's Sunday night, so that means it is time for At Week's End, the spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics and so much more. As usual, I'm joined by my good friend, the comic vet, and Ryan of the Cosmic Campfire will be here shortly. As always, it is Mother's Day, so he has been doing a little Mother's Daying, so he's on the way though. So before we go any farther, let's go ahead and hit that intro. All right, guys, if y'all haven't already, be sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so you know when future videos drop, which is pretty much every day. I try to go live at least 3 days a week because the best part of doing this is being able to interact with other people in the community and in the chat. And if you haven't seen, I'm creeping up on 800 subscribers. I'm about 15, 16 subscribers away. And I've got a big plan for the 800 subscriber giveaway that'll involve everybody. The people who are on the channel, the people who hang out in the chats, the subscribers. It will include all of us doing something to have fun and give back to this community. So be sure to share the channel out, let everybody know. Let's go ahead and get there because I'm really excited about doing it. I kind of been sitting on the idea for a little bit. It's not even my idea, but I'm sitting on the idea of participating in it and how I was going to do it a little bit different, but still the same, but different, but definitely the same. So again, share the channel, let everybody know that they're missing out on a lot of fun comic content. Be sure to tell them that fandom happens here. This is the place where every Sunday night, just wind down, let's spoil some books, talk about what we loved, what we hated, talk about these shows that have been dropping, what's coming. There's nonstop good stuff right now to talk about. So let's not miss out on that. And finally, with the last little announcement, if you haven't already, be sure to hit up my secondary Instagram page. It's called LOC Pops Attic. It's an inside joke between me and my dad, but it's Legion of Comics. And then my dad's attic, where he stores all of his extra books that he's been steadily adding to this Instagram page. And he's priced them to move. It's just all extra stuff, filler stuff that he's not trying to keep in the forever collection, just to get it out of the way because there's grandkids that need those rooms now. So be sure to go over there, check out what's over there. If we just started putting stuff on, there's going to be thousands and thousands of books that end up on this thing. So if there's not something that you see automatically right now, which there's a good chance there's not because we just started doing it, message the page. We neither him nor I mind going into the collection and pulling out something you might be missing out of a run or some fillers and stuff. And again, it's all priced to sell. Neither me or my dad are spec market people, nor do we give a crap. These are just books that have been around forever in the collection. We don't need, and they need a new good home, so we're putting them back into the wild. So, yeah, there's that. And I did see somebody in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and address this real quick. If y'all didn't know, there is an artist in the chat right now. His name's Austin LeMay. Check him out on Instagram. Share this hashtag, Austin over Peach. If you know, you know.
Oh, shizzle.
Hashtag truth.
Yeah. What is going on? We got Ryan of the Cosmic Campfire. He has made it. What is up, our mid brother?
What's up, man? Excited for this week's end.
Some good stuff to talk about.
I'm glad we got the good angle in the bedroom that we have the bed. So
he's not in the doghouse. We can always tell when you're fighting with your wife.
Yeah.
Probably.
He's stuck in the hallway. With a really bad angle. Yeah. But yeah.
So real quick, let's say hey to the chat. We got 11 people up in here. Ruben Guzman made it first. What is up? We are Legion. Dan Eckery in the chat. Hell yeah, I get to hear from the fearless leader of the Legion of Comics. PJ King, what is happening? Todd Christensen is in here as well. And there he is, the one, the only, Austin LeMay. I seen Southern Comic Geek popped in to say what's up. And what it do, Pikachu, sold twice, my man. Glad you could make it. Another fantastic artist you can check out on Instagram. I've got 4 pieces of his original art here, one for all 4 of the members of the household that live in here. Anachronic Comics, appreciate you stopping by. We got Mark Spector Comics up in here who dropped an awesome video today. Miss So, what is happening? That's one of my chat buddies from the Blasting and Stashing Friday nights. Yes, what is happening, Freaky Louie? Probably the most epic video I've seen in YouTube history.
Yes.
It went down last night on Freaky Louis' channel. He did a Saturday Night Live parody night, basically. And he had this awesome Saved by the Bell skit. And then Jason of Slotted Up changed the name of the game of YouTube in a 4-minute clip. It was absolutely amazing. I was dying laughing the whole time.
And it was great that Jay got his whole family in there. Yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, but Freaky Louie like picking up the retro cell phone, like talking to Screech. I'm like, Screech is dead. He totally plays into it. I'm like, that's awesome, man. But yeah.
I don't know how his kids were able to keep a straight face.
Yeah, terrific. That was I say it often, but that was a home run from the two of them, like back-to-back home runs. So thank you very much, guys, for the laughter. That was terrific and well received by the community too, which is great.
I'm so bad at some of these things. I have to do it up here. Who else is in the chat? Austin LeMay is still in the chat. Looking forward to the honest conversation about firepower tonight. Oh yeah, it's going down. It's going down. What is going on, Adrian Panda? Awesome 316. No, thank you. You're the one that does all the work. What? I don't understand the hashtag. Sad face. Then check out his Instagram page, and it's just what is it? OZ10. Yeah, OZ10. And you will understand. Boom, 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 boom. Dank Comics, how's it going? Yeah, Slotted Up did kill it. We got Pocan Joe here. What's shaking, my man? Ryan, can you put the LOC Pops Attic link in the chat? Because I'm like techno handicap right now. Ryan's working on putting this in the chat in case there's a few people in here that didn't see it beforehand. This right here on Instagram is a secondary Instagram page where we're just loading tons and tons and tons. It's going to be in thousands of books on there. Price to sell. And again, it's just getting started. So if you're looking for anything in particular and any kind of run or anything, feel free to message the page and ask directly, and we don't mind going and digging it out. And yeah, so check that out. And Freaky Louie has got also may put the Freaky Louie video in the chat as well. Y'all definitely have to check that out. It was amazing. And we got Small Town Collectibles in here as well. Got a nice little turnout. Boom, 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 boom. And there it is. It's in there. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. All right. How are y'all doing tonight?
Good.
I'm really excited tonight. I'm pumped, dude. I binge watched Jupiter's Legacy. Didn't even plan on binge watching it. Just couldn't stop. And I'm already on episode 3 of the rewatch on it. But
guilty. So for those that don't know, the three of us collectively said we're going to talk about this series, but we're going to go 2 episodes at a time. And Mark and I obviously couldn't help ourselves. I passed out last night and woke up really late and then decided, okay, I might as well just throw this on. The next thing I know, it's all done. As much as I would love to talk about that we'll go 2 episodes at a time.
I don't know how y'all do it, man. Like Friday night, I was like, okay, well, that was about when we decided, right? Like Friday evening. Yeah. And so that night I was like, okay, let me go ahead and watch the first one before I go to sleep. Turned it on, and like 20 minutes into it, I passed out, you know? And so the next day I woke up and I was like, oh, that's kind of sad, you know? I was like, I don't remember it being like amazing, but it seemed okay, you know? So Saturday I went ahead and like restarted that first episode. And I was like, okay. It's like setting the tone for what this show is going to be. And then I went ahead and went on to the second episode. All I can think about is how much I want to watch more of it. So I don't know how y'all like I understand how y'all couldn't withhold yourselves. I don't know how you found the time to watch more of it though.
Yeah. Oh, that's easy. When we were collectively having that conversation, I was watching episode 4 in real time while I was talking to y'all.
I hadn't even turned it on at all by that point.
And then last night, dude, I don't try to stay up once I go to bed. Like I try to go to bed. I normally like find this. There's this old AM show called Coast to Coast where they just talk outrageous stuff, aliens, Men in Black, time travel, none of it verifiable. But it puts me to sleep. It just listen to George Norrie talk in the background. I normally fire that up, but I couldn't help myself. I fired up Jupiter's Legacy and just wrote it out. And then today, it's Sunday, I get a kind of a longer break in the middle of the day, so it was just in my hand the whole time. Eating lunch, it's right here next to me with the kids, and then as soon as I got off work, watching it, that finale, wow, solid show. And we're not going to spoil it yet. We'll start talking about those first 2 episodes after the fact and why this show might not have been advertised. Like I saw 0 advertisements for it until
shameful. It's shameful.
Until Ryan actually shared one with me, and I didn't even see it firsthand.
I didn't know.
Whenever I was at the LCS Friday, they had a Jupiter's Legacy thing on the floor in front of the cash register, and then I saw that ad that I sent you an hour ago.
Yeah.
So that's all the advertising I've seen for it.
I was going to say, I know it was filmed here in Canada. I got to plug it, It was filmed here in Canada, and I had no idea. Jason Momoa's Apple TV show C is filmed here in Ontario, and when that's filming, and amongst other large television shows, it's big news here. But I had no idea Jupiter's Legacy was being filmed here, and I had no idea till I saw Comic Tom talk about it on one of his top 10 shows earlier this week or late last week, and him and the person that was on the show with him really didn't sell it well. They said that they didn't like the costumes and that kind of thing. And I know that we're kind of going out of sync here, but that was the first time I knew that it was actually out. And then for whatever reason, then it started blowing up on my phone, and then we had our talk. So yeah.
Yeah, and me and Tyler talked about it Friday morning about how to kind of pace something out, and so in 2 weeks from we plan to go in 2 weeks from Friday, just to go full spoiler, not next Friday, but the next Friday morning, to go full spoiler on the Friday morning show, which is a completely different crowd of people that are able to watch on those. So trying to stay relevant without spoiling it, that's a weird territory for a binge-worthy show, because we've had the weekly releases with Disney Plus and just Invincible and everything. So it's easy just to pace and everything and stay whatever. But trying to find that golden spot where enough people will have watched it that they'll want to talk about it, without actually just ruining it for people, because it's worth watching. It's beyond worth watching. It was good. It was really good.
It's very good. I can't disagree with you.
And I don't go into it expecting the same style and tone as the MCU shows, which are filmed in a completely different way with the intention of trying to mirror a cinematic experience, where this is mimicking, it's a television show, but it looks like a high dollar television show. It doesn't look like they're sitting in a cinema. It is a television show, but it is top notch.
It's got a cinematic style to it, but it doesn't feel like a big budget movie or something. It feels like I hate to say this because I know it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate to say it because I know it'll turn people off, but it's almost like a high quality, Blair Witch Project, Cloverfield sort of thing. It's you're very everything's very close to the characters, and you're very involved in their world. You feel like you're part of their inner circle. It's got a real down to earth, in you're inside of their world. You're not viewing it as an outsider.
Now I did talking on Joe's point here, Legacy and Bad Batch. Watched it all this weekend.
Yes,
and wow, great stuff. So I watched all of Jupiter's Legacy, and because we talked about it too, at least getting in that first episode of Bad Batch to talk about tonight. Well, I held the rubber band gun to my head and forced myself to watch it because I was really not wanting to stop watching Jupiter's Legacy. And I watched it, and I'm like, I just don't care. it is what it is. It's a Star Wars Clone Wars era, which I love the Clone Wars. I have all of those. Watch them a bunch of times. Watch a bunch of them with Finn even. But I just like there's like just one small moment of Bad Batch because it's known that this takes place right after Order 66, and just
Yes.
that brief moment when the order is given. That's all I really cared about. The rest of it is
Yes.
just who gives a crap. Like, and they're not telling a very in, interesting story, in my opinion. It's too far out there. It's too far removed from what I hold dear about Star Wars to feel invested in it. And I started the second episode, and I'm like, great, more kids. We're introducing more kids into the episode. That cut it off, and I went back to Jupiter's Legacy. It's stupid. It starts off with we're chasing down a kid to save his life or to kill him. We're going to figure it out on the way, and then it goes into more kids that we have to get out of here, and then we're going to go over here to my friend and play with his kids. I'm like, what is this? This is weird. So many kids.
It seems to be Filoni's MO. If you think about it, the Mandalorian, it's the same thing.
That's a 50-year-old man. That is a 50-year-old man. Don't you throw shade on Baby Yoda.
Well, I hope to look that good in 4 years then when I hit it.
Oh, you just revealed your age.
Yeah, it's true. It's
I feel like that kind of sells in
Falcon
Spokane, Joe.
Finish it the next day or so. I don't know how you can be in the middle of Murder Falcon, and that should be like I'm in the middle of Murder Falcon currently reading it because I don't know how you put that book down. I read that whole thing start to finish on accident. Like
Yeah, I feel like that is. I feel like that's the excuse you give for not being here for the show, you know?
Yeah, why aren't you here?
Sorry, I'm not watching, but I'm in the middle of Murder Falcon. I'll talk to you guys later. You know?
Yeah, that's
Later.
That's Dana Warren Johnson is just amazing.
It's so fugly.
Yeah, I don't care for the animation. It seems like a dumb idea that now we're in 2021. The special effects for Disney and MCU are known to be such on whatever part they are, but you're going to intentionally mimic the animation from 2007. That makes a whole lot of sense. Like when you, especially on these nice 4K TVs that I have, like when you see like their faces up close and it looks like Finn went up with a crayon and colored them. I'm like this looks horrible.
I got to agree when it started off really intriguing how they were introduced and and then the order came down and I was like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. And then it went rather quickly, and then it was okay. So these guys were clearly clones. For something's gone wrong, and the order didn't take with them, and so they're still middle of the road or anti-heroes, if you will. And they're one is helping out a young Jedi, and the other one wants to snipe him off. And you can tell right away, well, this is going to be a little predictable. And by the end of episode 2, everything that I kind of guessed, other than they simply, turned it to a 11 in the one sniper's head there, a la Spinal Tap. It was
named out. They're all named after Transformers.
Yeah.
Crosshairs, come here.
Yeah.
Wrecker, get over here. They're literally named after Transformers.
Yeah.
But what got me, like, not just the animation style, because I watch Clone Wars, but because it's of its time, like that fits in. But when they first showed up, like in that opening scene, when the Bad Batch pulled up and they start wrecking everything, the motion and the movement is so off, and they're just like choppy feeling, and there's nothing smooth about them. Like, dude, this is supposed to be like a whoa moment, but it just looks like y'all all should have been shot already. Every one of y'all.
I wonder if it was really rushed. Like, because obviously COVID
animation, you can do it from home,
right? That COVID's thrown a curveball at a lot of different projects out there. I kind of wonder if it was rushed and it just didn't go through the necessary pipeline that the Mandalorian did, or the original Clone Wars cartoon that it did. Because again, there's a few things we can pick apart just with the first 2 episodes, and not including that unnecessary runtime for episode number 1.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was 70 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, why give us 2 episodes then? Why not just sell the first one as as a movie, and then a month from now we're going to get the rest of them. Like, why release two if one's going to be
I don't
half-hour
know.
runtime and the other one's going to be something like a movie?
Just speaking on Cade's point, since the end of Mando season 2, the only thing Star Wars I'm interested in at all is Mando season 3, because that show just makes everything else just, other than Rogue One, it just makes it all look like trash. And the originals, and that really just set a really high bar.
It's hard to disagree. I think Rogue One is
Fantastic.
top two Star
movie.
Wars movie ever made. Like, if you just take the
Rogue One,
word Star Wars,
The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
I'm a huge prequels fan, so don't beat me up. I'm a huge prequels fan.
A New Hope is the only other Star Wars movie worth mentioning. All the prequels are garbage. Episode 7 had potential. 8 and 9 were dumpster fires.
Oh. I didn't mind Revenge of the Sith. I thought the choreography stood up. So
I was the right age.
I couldn't do any of the prequels.
Yeah,
that's what I'm always told. I convinced my dad to take me to see the Phantom Menace or whatever, and I must have been like probably like 11, 10, 11, 9, I don't know. But I remember the end of the pod racer scene. I was like, can we go? My dad was like, you made me come to this movie. We're going to finish it. And so he made me sit there through the whole rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to hear how critical you were even at a young age.
Oh my God, I hated it.
That makes my day.
It.
Like, what is going on, Chip Getler?
Other than Darth Maul taking out Qui-Gon and but what else is there to talk about the Phantom Menace?
I mean, that was a cool ending.
Right?
Yes,
I'm just saying, other than that whole lightsaber battle
and that lightsaber battle at the ending, like I could have done without, even when I was like 12 years old. I was like, this is
a Star Wars movie that gives us the line, "There's always a bigger fish." It's not going to be good.
Dude, I enjoyed seeing. This is where I really deviate from most everybody. I enjoyed Attack of the Clones a lot. Like, I know the Anakin and Padme relationship scene was just really kind of, I don't know, it was very cringy. But just on an information dump level, we got the clones. We were told that they're all clones of Jango Fett, who is the clone daddy of Boba Fett, who's just an unaltered clone. We get the whole Yoda using the lightsaber for the first time. Like, there's just so much stuff in that movie. We get like this huge.
That one is definitely one of the most substantial Star Wars movies as far as like content. Yeah, it was garbage movie, but it's probably the movie that gave us the most like known knowns within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, like the plus and minuses for that film, like we got to see Christopher Lee as an actor flex a little bit of muscle inside the Star Wars universe, which was great. And then he turns around and powers up a lightsaber. I don't want to see an 80-year-old Christopher Lee, like swinging a lightsaber around that's on a weird angle, But still, like I'm a big Christopher Lee fan, and anyone that enjoyed, the macabre type of films of the 50s and 60s, would have a little bit of passion. Yeah, that would have some passion for Christopher Lee.
Was that the Hammer horror films that Christopher Lee did Dracula as? Because you had the Universal stuff, but then you had all the Hammer horror film stuff.
Right. Yeah, the Vincent Price stuff. It was all part of that timeline, and yeah.
So Solo, I enjoyed. Didn't necessarily feel completely like a Star Wars movie to me, but it was a cool sci-fi movie in a sense. But when it was all said and done, I look back on it, I'm like, you just gave me an entire movie for the sole purpose of saying Han shot first, which I appreciate. I appreciate you settling that debate, but is that really the direction you wanted to go when you were given the chance to make a Solo movie?
Well, see, this is where my strong opinions come in, because I have not seen Solo, but this was the movie that defined Kathleen Kennedy as total and utter garbage to me, because the fact that she fired what's his name, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
Yep.
Like, these are guys, I don't think Spider-Verse was out yet, but the Lego movie, Who can make a Lego movie? If you had given anybody a Lego movie, they would have not known what to do with that. And these guys made one of the best movies that we've ever seen. And I guarantee you, the whole time they were making the movie, people were like, there's no way this is going to work. I don't know what you're doing. This looks dumb in pre-production. And then they turned out one of the best movies that's ever been made. So for you to walk in as Kathleen Kennedy, who's already had a bad record with Star Wars as far as I'm concerned, and fire those guys because they're making a movie that doesn't look like what you want? Come on.
What movie were they making when she fired them?
They were making Solo.
Oh, these are the original people making it or something?
Yeah, and
Lord
she fired
Miller.
them and replaced them with Ron Howard. And he refilmed like a majority of what had already been filmed.
Mm.
Yeah, to me the
release of those guys cut, huh?
Let's not.
Then and because they got offered they got offered into the Spider-Verse and they shot it down. They said, no, like, so many people have done Spider-Man. What would we do that's so different? So they had passed on it. And then when she fired them off of Solo, they were like, you know what? I think we do have an original take on Spider-Man that we can do as an animated movie. And that's how we got into the Spider-Verse.
Which is like
how can you be like the lead producer on Star Wars and make such a terrible business decision like that? You let that talent go? Are you out of your mind? You need new people to come into Star Wars. Why would you not keep two people that keep bringing franchises back into the limelight? Where was Lego before them? How was Spider-Man animated movies doing before them? Like, they revived
Legos
stuff. Why would you fire them?
Legos were just under my feet when I walked through the house in the dark. The only place.
Yep.
That reminds me of that meme where like the Lego boss guy is pointing at a human foot, telling other Lego blocks where to place themselves under the human foot. but yeah, they everything they do now ever since Solo turns to gold. Like, they gave us the line first time every time when it comes from
how
Batman
is that
Lego.
Not egg on her face in every meeting she walks into from now on? Not because she's a female. Never had a problem with her being a female. But she's made so many, like all of the worst of Star Wars, even despite the prequels being under George Lucas. Honestly, the worst of Star Wars has all happened under her and Disney. And I just can't look at that decision and be like, oh yeah, it totally made sense to fire those guys.
Release those guys got.
I couldn't remember what name y'all said. I just remember two names.
Lord and Miller.
Lord and Miller.
Yeah, Lord and Miller. Yeah,
they do. Better as release that those guys cut.
They do the Tom Holland Spider-Man stuff too. But yeah. But for me, Solo, the only thing I can remember that I can quantify that was enjoyable about Solo or the film Solo was that we got to know the reason why the Millennium Falcon doesn't have anything in its nose in the front. That's it. Like, I personally I didn't like the casting of the guy who played Han, and it's the Mother Dragon shows up, and I don't know what she's doing there, but
protecting her eggs, bro.
Yeah, like I don't know. She should have been hanging out with Jon Snow, not Solo. But yeah,
think about the fact that the Mitchells versus the Machines just dropped. That's a Lord Miller production. Like, that's another golden franchise now. Like, that movie's awesome. I can't believe she fired them and got away with it.
And then they turn around and won an Oscar. So eggs on her face,
and
man.
Don't get me wrong. Like, Ron Howard is a good filmmaker. I'm not saying anything negative about Ron Howard. It's just like he's the exact opposite of what those guys create. Like, he's very like classic Oscar style production, and these guys are like, breaking glass ceilings. Why would you not let them make that movie? They probably could have like brought Han Solo into the forefront of Star Wars all over again. Yeah, I've never seen it because I just don't care enough to even look it up.
The funny part is, if we want to really pick apart Solo, we can like go through all the actors that are in there and just give them just identify them as their most famous roles. Like Paul Bettany is the chief bad guy. Like, so why is Vision a bad guy in Solo?
I thought you were going to say Priest. I thought his most famous role was Priest.
Oh, another epic bad movie, but yeah, so bad but so good.
Yeah, watching him and Carl Urban fight on the train, man, it was fun. Definitely bad, but fun.
Jimmy with Jimmy with the
I like
home
those
run.
next
Good
two
for you, man.
comments. Right?
Considering
It
the
could have still been a
reshot,
Whedon
like
cut.
75% of it, in fact, didn't end up like Joss Whedon's Justice League is a miracle. They should make a movie called Rancor and have Rancor wreck it.
And the Rancor would be played by The Rock, and he would be lovable and destroy the whole city. And they'll just call it Fast and the Furious 25 or whatever number they're
Rampage
on.
2.
Rampage 2.
Dude, I love that
The
movie.
Rampagening.
Again, Rampage 2 was like really corny and goofy, but it's literally an 80s video game movie about giant animals smashing the city up. So they delivered exactly what they were supposed to. And the only way to make that movie enjoyable is to put The Rock in it because he's absolutely lovable. He's straight lovable.
He's the only thing more lovable than a big fluffy monster.
Yeah, that's it. That is it.
and have
Everything
him
he
work
touches is
at a
amazing.
zoo. But yeah.
I'm going to train gorillas. George, you scared? You scared? It was awesome.
Oh.
I don't see how. That movie does go nonstop. Surviving plane crashes and all kinds of stuff. Did y'all watch
is
the
like
Tom
one
Cruise
action scene
Mummy
after
movie?
the
This
other.
is so offbeat, but I enjoy that movie. It's
What movie?
nonstop act. Tom
The
Cruise
Mummy?
is the Mummy, dude.
Oh no, I never saw that one.
Dude,
I thought that was a good springboard into Dark Universe.
Yes.
And I get that, the critics just don't like Tom Cruise, generally speaking, for whatever. Like they just want to talk about his religion and
I love that crazy Scientologist.
Yeah, but I love him. He'll always be
so
unbelievable.
Dude, he's tapped in. He's tapped into something, and that dude can just deliver performances. I don't know.
Like, how is he not won an Oscar?
Crystal methamphetamine?
That's what it is. It was just fun. It was nonstop. It was action packed. It was cool seeing how they incorporated Dr. Jekyll into it, and just knowing that they're building to so much more. And the action was fun, man. I enjoyed it.
Russell Crowe was actually really good as a semi-villain in that film as well. Like, it's not like any of them mailed it in. Like, it was really good.
Oh, that's awesome. I would love to go see that.
Jimmy's living the dream. Living the dream, man.
Fast and Furious DeLorean Time War 2.
Oh my god.
Featuring the Rancor, yeah.
I can't watch any Alex Kurtzman's. Is that who did the
That's going to be on the marquee for somewhere in the background of Idiocracy 2 for sure.
Every one of his movies has super blood. What does Alex Kurtzman make?
I know the name, but I couldn't tell you.
I know him as a director. Did he do the Mummy then? Is that why he's dropping that name?
I'm not sure, but there were some wicked elements, like when the paramedics got killed and everything. There's some wild stuff in it. I have a lot of appreciation for Tom Cruise, but I understand people can't get over his personal beliefs. I see pretty much all of his movies. Dude, I can't get over his personal beliefs, and that's what I think makes him more interesting. It's like it's like watching. It's like going to the zoo. Like, let me go see what this creature is about to do next, and how they're going to justify it.
I couldn't care less.
The Island, The Legend of Zorro, Mission Impossible 3, Transformers, Watchmen, Star Trek, Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Cowboys and Aliens, People Like Us, Star Trek Into Darkness, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and The Mummy.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 was
mostly a writer.
He's a producer.
Writer on all of those.
That was Mark Webb. Okay. Mark Webb did Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. And Star Trek.
He's a writer on most of those, a producer on some of them, and he directed People Like Us and The Mummy.
Okay, so
on The Mummy, he was writer, director, and producer.
Okay, well, he's done a little bit of a lot.
And it looks like he's written a lot of TV episodes.
Jimmy's a super dad. Good for you, Jimmy.
Oh, he wrote for Xena Warrior Princess. I like him.
What about Hercules?
He wrote for the original Lock and Key from 2011.
What was that on?
It was greenlit by Fox, and then they canceled it at the last moment. Like, I guess I shouldn't say greenlit, but like they did an initial order, and then there was another show that I think they wanted to extend another season, and so they ended up going ahead and putting Lock and Key on the back burner, and that's when it never actually aired. But they did have a pilot season of like 6 episodes.
I'm gonna enjoy this answer. Go ahead, Mark.
Vegetarian. Was that
Still
fun for you,
drinks
Chris?
their milk. Just
I thought you were
No,
gonna
I
go
don't
deep,
drink
but okay.
milk. Yeah, I don't drink milk. I don't drink milk because it comes from a cow. Like, I don't drink milk because of vegan reasons. I don't drink milk because I'm not a cow and I'm also an adult. So I don't know why anyone
I'm
who's
also
not
an adult.
yeah. There's no other animal on the planet that drinks milk out of infancy, much less from another animal. It just doesn't make sense.
Oh man, that was so good.
I mean, I don't
And
disagree.
I'm an adult. I don't
But
suckle
I'm
at
an
my
adult.
mother's teeth.
At least that's what the judge tells me. They got to try me like an adult now. So no more milk.
Ah,
I read the Universal is rebooting the Wolfman with Ryan Gosling. That'd be cool, dude. The Wolfman movie they did with Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro. Was it Benicio del Toro?
yes, it was.
Wow. And that was the same guy who directed Captain America. That was wicked. That was really good.
Yeah, the whole Dark Universe. They actually had a bunch of terrific actors casted. Johnny Depp was going to be
Johnny
involved.
The Invisible Man.
That special, or pardon me, that Spanish actor Javier Bardem, I believe is how you say his name.
Frankenstein. Yeah.
He was going to be
Bardem.
like he was casted. Like I was really excited for it, and then the Mummy that could be his best performance.
Best performance
Yes,
yet. Les
absolutely.
Grossman.
I forget
Yeah, he
about
played
that.
And dude, when I
Yes.
first watched that movie in theaters, I'm like, who is this actor? Because I didn't know that he was going to be in it. And then I started noticing he's got watch and a bracelet on both hands. Like, this is someone in a fat suit. Oh my God, that's Tom Cruise.
That movie
It
has
was
so
good.
many great moments too. Like
Yeah.
Everything about that movie is just genius.
Just
None of it
watching
should
him
work.
talk to
Absolutely
Matthew
none of it should
McConaughey.
work.
When he started dancing, Matthew McConaughey just melts in the chair and just looking around like he has no clue what's going on.
It's so good.
G5.
You know when the bomb goes off and he's like, we're just acting. Holds up a human head. This is a fake head. And it tastes the blood. It just happens to taste like real blood. This is just corn syrup. It just has to taste like human blood.
Yeah,
Tropic Thunder delivers. Yeah,
Dude,
Jack Black was great in that.
It was. Mission Impossible Fallout was absolutely amazing. Like the one before that, I think it wasn't Ghost Protocol. There was one after that, I think. But Ghost Protocol was the one that they brought in Jeremy Renner for. It was really good. And then there was Rogue Nation, which wasn't bad. It was so good. But Fallout with Henry Cavill in it, dude, that breath of fresh air. It went so hard. And, the mustache did not look stupid.
Not in that film.
I've seen Mission. I saw Mission Impossible. I think Ghost Protocol, and then I went back and watched Mission Impossible 1, and that's all I've ever seen. So
they're good. They're good popcorn movies. They always have good twist endings, and just a lot of decent cameos in those films too. Wolf Blitzer comes to mind.
Good old Wolf.
Well, big Buffalo Bills fan. I have to throw that out there. Yeah.
You could review Tropic Thunder for 4 hours.
That'd
be a good idea.
That's like the first act right there.
Mission Impossible 1. They're stealing a floppy disk.
Yeah, brutal, really brutal.
So, what'd y'all read this week?
Sorry, I'm so sidetracked. Steve sent me this in the chat, so now I'm watching a video he just sent me. The Burt Box is fat this month, like super fat. Yeah, that was really good, Steve.
Why did he DM it to you in the middle of your show?
I don't know, because he knows I'm like a little squirrel. Go through your
Squirrel.
pools, Ryan.
It's funny, backstage, Mark and I were chatting about Suicide Squad, and I said to Mark, I'm actually at the point now reading Suicide Squad. Whenever Peacemaker is on the page in front of me, I'm hearing John Cena speak. Just looking at him, I said it's the most perfect casting since Chris Evans is Captain America, in my opinion. Like, I can't wait to see the Suicide Squad, and just to see Cena be the jerk character that this character truly is.
Mm-hmm.
And God bless whatever casting director that figured John Cena, because you look at the character, you would say, even if they were making a movie, I think this should be John Cena. But yeah, Suicide Squad 3. It was a little bit of a slower pace than issue 1 and 2, but I still found it just to be terrific as well.
Well, I love this one that they really just clash all of the alpha personalities, Like, you got Amanda Waller, she's always in control. You got Peacemaker that's trying to be the leader that, people are kind of rejecting. And then you got Superboy in there, just like, he wants to be the Boy Scout. He wants to be the leader. He wants to show everybody how to do the right thing, and him and Peacemaker, kind of going at it. And then Amanda Waller's over there, no, you both work under me, and trying to get everything in check. And I thought it made for a great episode or issue of just showing us how these crazy personalities are clashing, and this team is never going to be solid because there's always going to be some sort of problem.
And that's just terrific writing. That's exactly what you would want in Suicide Squad. I like the fact that Peacemaker decides to take Nocturna into the laundry room to talk to her, and he starts taking his clothes off to throw into the washing machine, and her response is, do I need to call the Suicide Squad HR because he's getting half naked? I'm like, that's good writing. That's a good quick quip that I found very very hilarious. And I did ask Mark. There's so many
great dialogue choices in this issue.
I did ask Mark, do you feel the splash page that's right here, that what leads into Bolt dancing and let's admit, she just dances around the Suicide Squad. Do you feel that Superboy gave her that split second by saying run to take off? Or was he challenging her run, I'm gonna catch you?
To tell you who he's challenging Amanda Waller.
Right. Yeah.
Every decision he makes, he still is.
They did make a point to introduce, this book opens with talking about how Superboy has kind of cycled through everything, and they specifically end it with, and he was part of the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
So I do feel like there was a point, they were making the point, he's kind of got a soft spot for the Teen Titans and all of that side of everything. So I think he let her go intentionally. But I think that was a good way to change the story, because otherwise it would have just been another issue of them going in and getting somebody for the team. And by having that mishap and mess the mission up, because that's all that Amanda and Peacemaker, that's all they care about is the mission going right. And so I think the big monkey wrench there with Superboy letting her get by kind of messed up the plan and ruined the mission, which is the thing that's going to make Waller and Peacemaker the most angry, So I think it's just a clash of personalities, But it does make me wonder about Red X, if Superboy is working with Red X, because he gets the drop on him.
I really like the way that they wrote it. It was almost very cinematic in a sense when they start talking about their plan at the end, the way that they're going to orchestrate it to get a hold of her. There, you have them talking about it, then it flashes when they leave the movie, and it flashes to them leaving the movie with the narration still going, but word bubbles, and they flash back and forth.
It's very much like a heist movie.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Robbie Thompson delivered. Let's be honest. Yeah.
The artwork in this is still absolutely amazing. It's up there with Ivan Ree's artwork on interiors. there's so much fine detail and line work, and the colors just pop really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the pencils and the inks that those guys really just should never work apart again in their life.
Man, I love this. Oh man, this scene right here. Like he's straight. That's one thing I didn't like was how they kind of like punked Peacemaker out a couple times in this issue, but I think it made good for the clash of personalities, you know. Because Superboy tells him, you know, F around and you're gonna find out, Tin Can Man.
Yeah.
And then what's the other one? Oh, whatever. What's her name? Is it Sepultura? Whenever she's like, get your shoes. What did she say? Like, get your shoes, Horton. And then it like cuts to Talon. He's like, whoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's stupid stuff like that that really just like makes it fun to read.
And then there's the big so the big thing of this is the Suicide Squad has been tasked to go pick up Bulk, who is a new cadet at the Teen Titans Academy. She is a double amputee, and she has like the little attachment she can put on her legs to give herself little spring legs, you know. And she's a speedster. She's tapped into the Speed Force, but she is different than other speedsters in the sense that she cannot stay dialed in. She calls herself Bolt because she gets it in little spurts, so she runs out of juice really fast. But if you read Teen Titans Academy 3, you know that these books are completely intertwined right now, that she's in Amanda Waller's pocket. We don't know why yet or how yet, but they go try to pick her up. It goes south, and then they're tasked with going to get her still somehow before their heads pop. And who shows up at the end? None other than Red X himself, who clearly has ties with Waller as well. And it's one of those things where, you know, Waller has got all these people by the tail, and they don't even know who, like, how deep it goes with each other. But he just kind of comes in and beats the crap out of Peacemaker just upon arriving. It's effortless what he does. He just walks up and bing bang pow, like dodges everything Peacemaker throws at him, kicks him in the stomach so hard he spits blood and busts his face in. And tell your ringleaders she needs to listen to Red X. So he's actually kind of making the shot call toward Waller on this.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got it out for the Teen Titans. I don't know how yet he knew that they were going after one of them, but he wants in for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm excited to find out.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like another alpha personality. Like Red X shows up and he's ready to run the show, and that's not really how Waller or Peacemaker roll, you know, and it's kind of competing with Superboy too. So it'll be interesting to see.
I'm pumped for it.
Just wait. Yeah, Todd Christian's absolutely right though. Like Thompson writes him as a pure sociopath, and that's what makes him so entertaining. Yeah, he doesn't care about nobody.
Chris is trying to burn the show out pretty quick here. Okay, that's what you're doing, Chris.
I'm waiting for you to do your lead, and last week you were just on fire.
I'm squirrel brain today, guys. Oh, I missed it. And Amanda Waller's got ties to Red X, and she's got ties to the squad, and we don't know how they intertwine or how deep these roots go. And speaking of deep roots, I completely missed it. It was there, and I missed it.
Okay, everyone will agree that's your gimme, that's your mulligan. Well, yeah. but you're gonna have to tie it together after Ron V's masterpiece.
Yeah. All right, Ron V, man, take it away, Ryan.
Okay. Yeah, so I really like how this book opens with like the modern world, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Contemporary Levi and Jennifer. And I think what makes it so cool is like we really get to see like him and Jennifer have some time together and kind of understand their relationship a little bit better, and like why she could be a significant part of this story because she can run all this medical equipment. And so we get, what is this, a CT scan? Yeah. And it's CAT scan. You know, all like, or a CAT scan, and it's all like double paged out, and the way it progresses, like you're kind of like looking at all brains, and then you start to see a flower pop up, and then like a moth or something, and then you start to see like roots and stuff come out of the brain. So I thought it was a great way to express, like, you know, that he's becoming something else, like, internally too. You know, it's not just a physical change. And then we get like this awesome splash page. I really like that they went with a Saga of the Swamp Thing style splash page right here.
Yeah, pure
Because
70s.
you know we got like the Becoming ones and stuff before. They were real big, reminding me more of like crossover right now. But this one definitely felt like a homage to Saga of the Swamp Thing.
Station, homie. What is going on, Travis?
Station. And
I mean, it was
I guess
cool setting up the dynamic of the relationship as well as like not really knowing where they stand with each other. They kind of have a like this kind of rocky relationship. They don't know if they're together, not together, what, but they have this bond with each other where they feel the need to help each other. And that's very relatable. You know, like I think that a lot of people have been in that kind of relationship with people in the past and stuff. But it was cool how they just showed the green taking over him. I did like that. The way that he just wakes up in the green from there, like with the hand just emerging, and they're both there unwillingly. And where there is, I'm not exactly sure either. We just know they're in the green. Like if it's a physical place or if it's a state of mind at this point.
Yeah. This was definitely one of the more like cerebral issues we've gotten out of Rom V so far.
He wakes up in the green and he's immediately looking for, and the first person he finds is Ivy.
Yes.
What were you gonna say, Chris?
I at first I thought it was when the first time I went through the book, I thought it was the other way around, that he was looking through his own eyes, but everything he was seeing was green. And then I kind of thought maybe he's dreaming here because of the fact that we have Ivy. Or at first I thought it was his girlfriend as Ivy. But yeah, when I went through it a second time, I paid close attention to everything, and then actually took in how beautiful the artwork is for this. It's Mike Perkins that did it, right?
Yeah.
It's you want to talk cinematic. With her sitting on the throne, that's pure cinematic.
Yeah.
And just it's so personal. Like it's great. Like this could be the best DC writing going on right now, in its own individual book that's not continuity to any other titles. And again, if you turn to the final page, like just how special is that piece of work? Like Mike Perkins is. If Mike Perkins isn't known to everyone, like just go through the interiors of the Swamp Thing. He's incredible.
I was going to mention
the camera can't even do this justice.
Right.
Like it's beautiful.
That was something I thought was cool about how they established so much to the green with the giant creatures down there. We find out that Woodrue is alive in the green still.
Yes.
We have Poison Ivy, and she has like her own little copy that she calls Ivy down there, and she has her own little piece of the green that she is ruling. And I don't know if y'all caught it, but like Swamp Thing is like this iconic look of being green. Like he's got the peak nose, he's got the brown branches on him, and we hit it like when we start off, he's very mushy looking, right? And he gets wrapped up in some vines by Ivy, but then he kind of takes control of himself a little bit. He takes control of the green. He kind of starts to get a handle on what's going on. And those vines that she was using to hold him, he stands up out of, but now he has that iconic look starting to form around himself. So we are slowly getting into this because when he stands up, those brown vines do stay on him. So he's still a little mushy. But I thought it was cool. That was a little thing that I noticed. Even on that last page, he still has them. He's starting to look a little more swollen, everything more formed. So even with the art, like talking about how fantastic the artist is, the attention to detail, like he's telling a story with the progression and the evolution of Levi becoming the Swamp Thing in mind and not just in body. He's showing that through the pages without addressing it with the dialogue.
for me, what stood out where we finally got to see like the Alan Moore type of looking Swamp Thing is when he speaks to Alec straight up.
Oh
Or
God,
pardon
that
me,
moment.
yeah, when he speaks to Alec, and I thought right away, like the cover of the first appearance of John Constantine, that the yellow cover where Swamp Thing has his hands open, and it's just the side profile. That's what I thought right away. Like now we're getting the classic look. That's blow that up, Mark.
Yeah.
That's the classic looking Swamp Thing that most comic book readers can identify with right there. Doesn't matter if you saw him
Yeah.
in TV or if you saw him on film or if you read his books. That's the classic Swamp Thing. And it took Alec Holland to pop up and introduce himself, and right. And where we see, okay, this is he's going to morph into that type of Swamp Thing that we do recognize. He's not necessarily he will necessarily have his own flavor to it, but they're not casting away the old Avatar look, and we are going to get that classic Swamp Thing. So I was happy for that.
Mm-hmm.
But my God,
Yes,
the monster
absolutely.
in the background, how menacing is that thing?
Yes.
What is it? What is its purpose? And me and Ryan were talking. We made a good point. We really don't know why Alec is detached from being the Avatar. Like if the Green realized that it isn't Alec and it was just if it had no more use for him, this or that. But there's just nothing but mystery still wrapped up in this book. There's so much to kind of unravel still. And
It has a fantastic pacing though. With that said, Mark, it does have a fantastic pacing.
it absolutely does. And do you know what else had a fantastic pacing this week that just could not stop from cover to cover? And that was the Immortal Hulk, issue number 46. Thank you, Steve. 16 away. So yeah, everybody, if you are not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Let's get to 800 and share this video. As always, let them know that fandom happens here. If they love comics, love talking about comic shows and games, whatever, we do it all right here. Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. So Immortal Hulk issue number 46 was really the issue that I've been waiting on for a while now. What is going on in Comics Lounge? Did you just give me spirit fingers?
No, I just let everyone know what happens in this book.
Oh yeah, I was about to say those aren't spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers.
But this the Immortal Hulk variant cover, which is the Joe Bennett, I believe. Yeah, the Joe Bennett homage to the X-Men Days of Future Past. For me, this is the cover of the week. Now I know that this particular homage has been happening time and time again over the last year or last 2 years, where Days of Future Past has been homaged or whatever. But my God, it's cool to see the Hulk strike a Wolverine pose for a change.
Well, as long as they don't do a ASM 300 homage.
Oh,
If they do an ASM 300 homage for Immortal Hulk, I'm gonna buy it and message Tyler immediately. Like, I need a Whack Comics episode, guys. I got something I need to destroy. Yeah. Doom Hulk versus Thor was awesome in that issue. Yes, it was. We're about to get into that. Love the homage cover. Ryan was there Friday morning and looked through some stuff.
Yeah.
But he didn't get to pick anything up.
Yeah, I didn't pick any
what?
books up.
Wait, what?
No, confirmed Betty Ross is a chicken head. Yeah, that last page, they sure did. Oh, honestly, not doing an ongoing series is why I stay away from Swamp Thing. I'm comfortable with them doing this 10-issue run, and I think with the fan reaction and stuff, it's clearly not going to be all that we get from Swamp Thing or Rom V on Swamp Thing. Because with these companies, when stuff sells, they tend to keep working on it. Yeah,
I really like that it's not an ongoing series. I think ongoing is the worst thing you can do for a character.
Or for
you
a
just
writer
end up writing a lot of
yeah,
like you just start like writing stuff to have something to write, and I like this Swamp Thing is 10 issues because Ron V knows what he's doing for 10 issues, and it's successful. They'll give him a second season or whatever. He can take 2 months off this year, much needed and deserved. And then he can come back in January and do another like 9 or 10 issue series. And I'd be happy with that. Like, just keep doing stories that you know where the end is going so that we're not like constantly sitting around. Like, I hope he figures out next week. Like,
Yeah,
I hate the idea of an ongoing. It's so ugh.
21 is definitely becoming the year of the V.
Whoa. Well, congratulations to you, player.
I know, right?
Boom.
Ongoings are great if they're the Immortal Hulk number 46, because this was the issue I've been waiting on. And if you've been reading Immortal Hulk, you know that the Hulk has been in another wave for a bunch of issues now. For about 10 issues straight, he's just been about as down and out as you could possibly be. He's missing most of his personality. Some of them, at this point, we can only assume are gone. And Joe Fixit's been walking around human form, not even as the Gray Hulk. And he ran into the UFOs a couple issues ago, and they've just been decimating him, and they pretty much killed him. And when he got down to the place below all, which is basically the hell for anybody that's a Gamma character, and that place, they found a way to always come back. That's why there's a whole immortal thing, because down there in their personal hell, when you die, there's a green door that opens, and you have the choice to walk back through it, thus coming back to life. Well, the leader has orchestrated stuff for so long that he is in control of the place below all, and he has found a way to turn those doors off, thus rendering the green doors red. Well, in the Hulk lore, that's not a stop sign. That's a turn up sign, because he came back through that red door, and he came back swole like whoa, green with red veins. And anybody that knows about the Red Hulk, he absorbs energy. So he woke up to the UFOs just buffer and ever and ready to destroy. And that is exactly what he did. I mean, big time. And it was very grotesque. Here, I found it. I was looking for this page. So he grabs old buddy's head right here, because this dude thought he was going to be tough. Like, this is like the big strong guy for the UFOs, and he thought he was going to be tough and come in and swing on the Hulk. Hulk immediately catches his hands, starts talking trash to him, like down low, too slow. And then he starts making comments about, I wonder if you're just covered in metal and if your insides are soft and gooey. He crushes his hand, then grabs him by the hand and proceeds to insert his fingers into his head and start separating his head. And the whole time he's screaming, no, no, help me, help me. But then he gets to this point where the brain damage has sat in and he can't speak real words anymore. So he goes from screaming, no, no, to just, and you can just kind of picture that grotesque moment happening like in a horror film where your brain just checks out on you and they're standing there just befoozled. They don't know what to do to help. It was amazing.
He melted his own face. That was a little uncharacteristic, but it was very cool to see.
Yeah, he just decimates the UFOs. They exit him from the fight just to save themselves. And Henry Gyrich is in charge of Gamma Flight, which started out with the Alpha Flight characters that have Gamma connections, but it's just turned into Henry Gyrich, like leading the UFOs pretty much. And he knows that he has no other options, so he calls in the Avengers, because that went so well for the Avengers in the early issues of this run. It went so well for them. It really did it. They destroyed an entire state almost, and the Hulk broke Thor's jaw with one punch.
Yeah, it's again. Let's talk about how beautiful the artwork is for this, especially when Thor shows up inside the bar, and I feel bad for the bar owner there because it's just annihilated. But it's cool to see like that She-Hulk is waiting for him on the outside as well with the Avengers.
Oh yeah, and after the fight with the UFOs, don't even skip it. He goes to a bar to chill out and have a drink.
Right. And the collection of Avengers that's here is quite interesting.
Yeah, so he goes to the bar, and then he gets interrupted by none other than Thor. So Gyrich called him in, and it's just Thor that shows up and just doesn't even give him a chance to talk. He just straight up just nails him with the hammer.
Right. Mjolnir to the chin.
Yeah. And Hulk gets up and says, oh, you want a rematch? I'm not in the mood. And he says, be quiet, and hits him again. And he basically says, the last time you met me, you caught me off guard, but now you haven't fought me since I've been the god of gods. Like, so he's he's big flexing that he's like pretty much Odin now. You know, he's Big Daddy Asgard now, and Hulk don't want the smoke. But you turn the page, and Hulk just dusted him out of the building with one punch. Walks outside, thinks you think you're going to get beat about you. It's never going to happen. Not for any of you. And there's Blade, Captain America, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Hulk, the Immortal She-Hulk. And She-Hulk looked at Thor immediately and said, I thought the plan was to talk. And Black Panther tries to talk to him, and he's like, look, you're outnumbered. And then Betty shows up. As Pokin said, chicken head Betty. But I can already let y'all know this is going to go bad for the Avengers. Like, it doesn't matter how powerful Thor is anymore when it comes to the Hulk. This is not the Hulk that he was ever used to dealing with.
Yeah. We've said this before, but see what a publisher can do when the editor just lets the writer do what he wants and lets him do what he wants. It's so good. Why can't DC do this with Tynan? Marvel lets Al Ewing have a free-for-all in the Immortal Hulk, and yet, not to steal your segues, but you can feel where I'm going.
Spider-Man. No.
This is what happens when the editor does not give the writer full creative control, or at least the writer then pretends to have free creative control because he doesn't want to lose a paycheck. This is not good.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this is not good either.
Yeah, I don't want to harp on Batman for too long because it absolutely sucked. But this was like the best issue Tynan's put out on Batman in a while, in a sense that it was an enjoyable issue to read.
Oh, look at that flex!
If it was just a standalone cover. Yeah, oh wait, look. Flex. Flex. So if it was a standalone issue, you know, it wasn't bad. Like, we got introduced to Miracle Molly. We got an idea of what's going on with her, and but in the grand scheme of things, in this 8 issues that they've been pumping out with this storyline, there's still nothing is going on. And I know people said, "Oh, we gotta see kind of the origin of Peacekeeper #1. We gotta." If y'all read Future State, none of that is new information. Not any bit of it is new information. And at this point, January, February, March, April, it's 5 months old, y'all. 5-month old information. They're rehashing, and people are like, "Oh, we're finally getting it." Don't fall for that crap. Go read Detective Comics. Great Batman stories are being told there. Go read Batman the Detective. Little offbeat Batman stories are being. There's so many Batman titles that are out.
Read Catwoman. Batcat's good too.
Yeah, Batcat.
How about this? Go read
Catwoman is the Batman book that everybody wants.
Point.
Even the Joker.
Go read Fortnite Batman 0 Point over this, because issue 3 Batman will fight Snake Eyes, and that's going to be more entertaining, more plot progression, just more all around fun. This isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, it's not fun and it's not progressing anything. So what's the point?
When Al Ewing's done with the Immortal Hulk, DC needs to give him a quick call.
I hope they just keep Al Ewing on like sci-fi horror stuff. We only find them when they're dead is fantastic as well. I can't wait for that to start back up. Me and Ryan devoted a whole episode of this just to that book one time. Like, we went in on that book. It is fantastic.
Chris, are you reading Catwoman?
The last one I read, it was the Frizen cover where Catwoman was upside down. That may be the last issue or the issue before. The cover B was
like 28 or earlier.
Maybe it was 20. It was one where the image is Frizen's Catwoman upside down and she has pearls and stuff, I believe. That may be
2 issues ago.
Okay, that's the last cat that I wrote.
I don't remember her being upside down, but I remember her doing a cover.
Jenny
had her
Frizen
surrounded
cover?
by like cats, right? Or roses or something.
No. Like pearls and stuff.
Right. Jenny Frizen is a master, by the way.
Yeah. Well, in Catwoman 30, they
flip it over, Ryan. It'll be upside down.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
My fault. Digital files, you know how they get rotated. Well, in Catwoman number 30, right at the end, they introduce Ivy as like she's in like kind of like a crisis or like a freezing chamber. What are they called?
Cryogenic chamber.
Yeah, cryogenic chamber kind of thing. So I was just wondering if you knew anything about like the continuity there with the Ivy we're seeing in Swamp Thing.
Oh.
Bazinga.
Boom.
And that's why it was Chris's pick of the week that week.
There's always an overtone. Pardon me, an undertone. Yep. And check out today's release to find out what today's undertone is from my pick new comic for this upcoming new comic book day. But no, I'm sorry, Ryan, I didn't read the last issue of Catwoman, so I'm not sure if there is correlation between the two Ivies that we've seen recently. Do you think there is?
I don't know. I mean, if we're operating on the assumption that everything that happened in Swamp Thing was in like a dream world version of, like, not necessarily a dream world, but like a projected version of the Green, so like physically they don't have to be there, then it would kind of make sense, right? Because in Catwoman they introduce her as basically a prisoner. Like, she's in a chamber, but this guy like bought the chamber on the black market, and so he has poison ivy, and he's about to show her off because all these rich people will never have, like, it's the one thing that they can't leave his house with because he would never sell it. It's a priceless thing to have. So if she's frozen in there, I guess it would kind of make sense that she could project her psyche into the Green and interact there. But I don't know if I necessarily like see a full-on crossover coming from those two either. Like in Teen Titans Academy 2, I think it's in, or maybe it was Suicide Squad 2 is the first time they teased the crossover with Teen Titans Academy, And so you kind of knew it was coming and stuff. But this one, they're not teasing any kind of crossover. It just seems like there's maybe multiple Poison Ivies in this current continuity or something. I'm not sure. That's what I'm wondering, is like how connected all of that is.
That's a great
I haven't seen anything that says officially if Swamp Thing is in or out of continuity. I mean, I assume they haven't said because they don't really know yet either, or what that continuity necessarily is, But it's just weird because in Catwoman, she's frozen in a chamber, and then here we see her in what we suspect might be like kind of like a dream realm,
Right, and queen of that dream world, right, sitting on the throne. But it could be like it would be an interesting take, because then would we have the curveball that Swamp Thing needs to go to where she is to attempt to save her, or like does he need to send Jennifer there to help, kind of thing? Like, but
yeah,
I like. Again, that's, man, if it is, we're going to be going deep into continuity. And that's one curveball I didn't see coming. I Catwoman and Swamp Thing crossover.
Right.
But, right. Mark, what do you know is deep in there?
Two characters, it would be a really cool crossover.
I was going to say, what do you know is deep in there?
Oh, I was looking up some stuff on eBay.
He was looking at that Catwoman cover.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I went to Pornhub to check out the Catwoman cover.
He was like, was she upside down?
Yeah. eBay, something I was watching.
Definitely the pearl necklace, though.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I remember specifically you guys saying last month, maybe, or about 5 weeks ago, that this is the best Batman title in DC right now.
For now, until Garth Ennis starts writing Batman.
No caveats. Yes, it is.
I'm definitely enjoying that light years above every other Batman title. Like, get me out of continuity, because right now continuity for Batman is trash. At this point, I think it was it's turning into a very boring read for me that we're still dragging out future state stuff. Like, if you don't start deviating pretty rapidly from the known story of future state, what's the point? What is the actual point of reading to the end game? Like, get it. You better Elseworld it real quick. You better make future state an Elseworld thing, and we know how it ends. We know how it all goes down, and do something.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting to see Last Ride. I think Last Ride is going to be kind of a defining point, because so far all of had like future state endings. All of those have been like kind of on point, like on trajectory, you know. But they've said that those future states are just like possible endings or whatever. So I'm kind of wondering how telegraphed they're gonna hold to that with Last Ride, and so it'll be interesting to see if that one chooses to deviate or if it's gonna stay on the trajectory toward the future state ending that we saw.
I'm hoping for Dark Side in it because Dark Side is. But Steve, that comic's not very Burke family.
I was gonna say,
has he been hacked? Like
Yeah,
like,
and also you need to get off it, my man. Like, go read anything Tom King other than the Batman run and what was the other one that he Heroes in Crisis. He has so many great books out there that I know you've heard great things about. It's the Maxi series, man. Go check out his Maxi series. They're fantastic. Am I to understand that there's 53 other U's running around out there? I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
yeah, but yeah, you should understand that. I could be anywhere.
Yeah. The green is a spiritual, plain woo-woo comic MacGuffin. No, it's not. I know it. I know what you're trying to say, but no, it's not. We can have that. We can have that debate sometime. Yeah, it's an actual added in aspect of the Hulk lore. Like, explain how any other character just keeps coming back. At least with this, they've written in something that actually explains it, so it's not just the power of the plot. It's a place that you can be at, you can exist at, you can be trapped at, you can die at. It's a place that actually controls like your existence. It's actually an anchor point. It's not a woo or MacGuffin, but that's my thoughts on that.
What is Legends of the Dark Knight?
That's the new Batman ongoing series that's going to be starting soon. If you would pay attention to advertisements and comics, Ryan, I swear.
It's like I don't notice the one thing that you do notice.
Yeah.
I didn't see any spring break ads this week in DC, so that was.
You didn't? I did. The Stargirl stuff. Oh yeah, I don't miss ads, man. I'm a big fan of ads.
No, I don't remember seeing any this week, but okay. I know last week I was complaining about it.
It comes from reading comics as a kid, you know, and looking at these ads and wanting to cut out pages and mail stuff in. And my dad explaining to me that, dude, that was 30 years ago. You can't mail that in.
Yeah, that Mile High Comics ad, you're not going to get Hulk 181 for $7.
Yeah. I'm going to try. So there's the ad for that one.
Oh, cool.
This is the new ongoing series. And the way that they're going to honey dick everyone is with this Derek Robertson, who's doing the writing and the illustrations, but only the first 3 issues, guys. So, pew!
Honey dick.
Pretty quick.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back.
You said ongoing, and I was like, what?
I'm out.
3 issues, and I'm out.
Sounds like garbage.
But it's ongoing. To go back to Zdarsky doing Last Ride, I hope that next week I get to say, yes, we get to have Superman lit back at Batman and call him a 1%er. Because for those like that don't know my story, where I got to hear Chip Zdarsky speak publicly, he called Batman a member of the 1%. And he said, why would I want to write, or why would I want anything to do with a 1%er who goes around beats up poor people who are trying to get themselves a free loaf of bread? So, but yeah, I really hope that he throws.
That's how I would describe Miracle Molly. She's just trying to get a loaf of bread.
I really hope that Chip
and
Zdarsky lets Superman be just that little bit lippy if this is supposed to be where Superman walks away from Justice League.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Superman Batman is a great book as well. It is not a Bat Family book, but it's still an excellent book. Really creative and inventive. And PJ, if you would subscribe to Chris, the Comic Vets channel, every Sunday he posts a video that him and I do collab together where it's we both choose a hot pick of the week and why. Each time those last 2 issues dropped with this new writer, that was my pick of the week going into the week, and it did not disappoint. When issue number 16 dropped, it was easily my read of the week. Easily. It is one of the most enjoyable comic books that anybody will read. If you're a fan of comic books, it is just absolutely enjoyable every step of the way. We reviewed it, both of those, really hard on the show. We loved them.
Well said.
You know who else
Comic
enjoyed
books,
it and gave a
classic
great review of it?
storytelling,
Okay,
and
Joe.
meta plots. Like, that's the book to be on.
And it's consistently selling out. So that's that. Yeah. That one issue that as
16.
you guys can remember, I was trying to hunt down. It turns out that it was a spec book. Mark was calling it a fake spec book, but I couldn't get that book. I couldn't get that book anywhere. 6 different comic shops, all sold out on New Comic Book Day. And the point is, I'm glad to see that a Superman title, even though it's a shared title, is selling out.
Yeah. And then you can always go the easy road and just online purchase it, but then it's not as fun as going to stores to go to pick stuff up.
It's the thrill of the hunt for me.
Yeah, absolutely agree. All right, so I got a real quick. I know you guys don't read. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
You don't want to hear about Eve?
Let's do Eve.
Oh, that's the one with the Ted, right?
Yeah, with this teddy bear.
Is a teddy bear named Adam?
No, but like obvious miss, right? I think I fall somewhere between Tyler and Taylor Winder on this book. Like, I didn't think it was just meh, but at the same time, like, it was also kind of strange at times. Like, there's this, I don't know, there's like this whole scene where she's talking to her dad on the radio, and he's telling her, like, oh, you're talking to yourself. And then, like, the dialogue switches to just her talking back and forth to herself the whole time. But the dialogue still sounds like she's supposed to be talking to somebody else, not just herself. And it goes on for like 2 pages like that. So it's kind of weird. And then you get into this and her... Do what?
I said, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was kind of like weird dialogue to start out with. The dialogue does get a lot better as you get into it. And then her dad's like really protective and all about her. But apparently, like, he's known that the apocalypse is coming and just like hasn't been telling her. And so he's literally just like, hey, we need to go downstairs. Like, look at this secret room that you never knew about in the house. You have to scan your handprint to unlock the door. And like the door unlocks and he shoves her in, and then she wakes up like years later and he had like shoved her into a cryo tube.
Bunch of cryo tubes tonight.
Yeah, and it's very like Futurama, if you ever watch that. Like, she wakes up and she's just like, what happened? You know, like the way he just stumbles in, she comes out of it and she still feels like it's, you know, everything just happened. Like everything just stopped for her. And so she comes out of this tube like, what's going on? Where's my dad? And it's like, he hasn't been around in 25 years. And it's like, but I just had dinner with him like 5 minutes ago. Oh yeah, by the way, you need to eat because you haven't eaten in 25 years. And she's like, but I just ate, you know? And so it's a lot of like this back and forth. They do a handy little thing where they do say, like, she wakes up, and this is where pretty much the rest of the story goes. But see, this teddy bear is right there when she wakes up, and it's a teddy bear that her dad like gave her when she was a kid or something. And so the teddy bear wakes up whenever she comes out of the cryo tube and is basically explaining stuff to her, and she's like, why can't you just tell me like all the information? Because he's like, we got to go on this journey and like you're going to learn about the world and like what all happened and stuff. She's like, why can't you just tell me? And so the bear is nice enough up front to be like, your dad programmed me not to tell you everything at once because then you would just like break down from like information overload. And so that way you kind of know like you're going to be getting information as she gets it, and there's like kind of a reason for it. And then from there, like they go out into the world and basically the water has risen so high and the air has become so polluted that like people basically died off and stuff. And so the adventure is going to be her getting to a vault where there are seeds for these special trees called like the mangrove trees or something. And she can like plant these seeds and they'll help, I guess, absorb the water and reduce the water level, you know, and like save the world and stuff. So I think yeah, I mean, how do you look? Because yeah, let me point this out. This is the final page, but this is what I mean. Like, this was the island of Manhattan, and this is what she's looking at. It's all like underwater, so she's at the top of these buildings. So even if you reduce the water level, you haven't really saved the world, because society is basically gone if the water level is that high around the world, But that's going to be her mission. And I do like the way the bear and Eve kind of bounce off of each other, and the way that we know she's getting information kind of parsed out to her. I think it's going to be a fun adventure to go on, because like her whole life, basically until she was like, I don't know, I think she's 11 or 12 or something at the beginning of this book. Her whole life she's been like on this island, and her dad lets her go play on the island and stuff. And so kind of like one of the first things she gets from the bear is he's like, yeah, your dad said everything you've been doing your whole life was to prepare you for this. And so then it kind of all clicks, like all the stuff she's been doing on the island, learning how to scavenge for food to eat and learning how to survive and things like that is what she was doing all day when she would go out and play on the island. And so knowing that she has that skill set, and this robotic bear, like he gets like long legs when he needs and stuff. So he's not just like a little teddy bear with information, like he's also useful, So I think it'll be a fun adventure to go on, but I did think some of the dialogue was a little bit stilted at times.
Well, Tyler seems to be interested.
Yeah, I think the setup was better than the issue itself. But I think like once you get on the road with her, I think it's going to turn into a lot of fun.
Did they reveal what the teddy bear is in the first one?
Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he tells her like pretty much from the get-go that like her dad built him to help her on this mission that he knew that she was going to have to go on. So that's the other big question in mind is like, how did he know the apocalypse was coming? Why did he never warn her that this was the plan? Like, it's really weird the way that it turns in that moment, because they're like having dinner and she's like, I wish we could have dinner like in New Orleans or something. And he's like, that sounds good. And then you realize like the wall that's around the table that they're sitting at dinner, like it's a hollow screen kind of thing. And so it changes to like New Orleans in the background, and you're like, okay, he really cares about this girl. He's like trying to take care of her. Like this is his daughter. And then he's like, come downstairs. And there's just like a dark door, and he basically pushes her in. And then you flip the next page and she's waking up out of a cryo tube. And you're like, what just happened? Like, it's an odd change, Yeah, I think it's an interesting book. Like I said, I think the adventure is going to be a lot of fun. But this first setup issue did feel a little stiff, like it was trying to get to where it needs to get going,
Who did you say the creative team is behind it, Ryan?
That's it's written by Victor Laval. The only other thing I know by him is something called Destroyer. I've never read it, and I don't know how you pronounce the artist. I think he's like a South Korean artist.
Okay.
Mi Yeong, something to that effect. The artwork's really good. I like the art. That's solid. The storytelling's pretty solid. It uses the ability to like jump through time and stuff, like comic book style. It does that very well. So it's pretty like well crafted as far as a comic book. It's just it feels like they really didn't want to deal too much with the setup, so they were just trying to knock all of that out in the first issue so we can get on the road.
Well, I doubt I'll be picking that one up. Nothing against it. I just don't see myself being able to add to my pull list. I just removed some stuff off my pull list this week and added some other stuff that's coming, like Superman and the Authority.
Yeah. I think this is a mini series, though. I think it's only like 5 or something.
That's an Image book,
here. Ryan? This is Boom.
Oh.
Yeah, Boom Studios. Victor Laval, Joe Mi-jeong, Brittany Peer on colors, and World Design did the letters. It's got quite a few covers as well. And it's printed in Canada, so you might want to pick that up.
Well, you better. At this point, you have to, don't you, Chris? You need that check mark.
I got to go, guys.
So real quick.
Yeah, it just says Eve #1, May 2021. So it doesn't say one of anything. So it might be an ongoing. So we'll see how long it stick around.
Printed in Canada because I feel like I lost a check mark.
You mean
for this
it's
one.
subpar?
Yeah.
So,
John
whoa,
Ridley's
whoa,
the next.
whoa! What is going on here?
John
I
Ridley's the
haven't.
next Batman Second Son. It's nothing bad about it. It's just not interesting, really.
I
We
haven't
get like
pointed out that that's Canadian pine that bed's made of right behind Ryan there.
yeah. You just won.
Keeping that one in the back pocket, huh?
Game over. Yeah, this was subpar. Another families arguing about who's been meaner to who for the longest amount of time.
Literally every
That's
review of
it.
that book that I've heard is the same. Like, why are we still talking about the family? Can we not get into actually something happening? They're like, we know these people now. Like, why can't we just do something? Like, why is there no action in a Batman book anymore?
I'm getting to the point where I'm like, why is John Ridley writing comics?
Oh man!
I mean, what has he really written?
Wow.
That
He's only
dissent has
written
been
the next
growing in
Batman,
you.
Other History of the DC Universe, and that one short story that was like the worst piece of Superman literature ever written. So what has he really done? What?
Yeah.
Go back to writing movies.
Are we talking about the scene where Superman thought I could just kill you, or is that the one we're
like
talking about?
his deepest inner thought was to just want to murder people. Like get the hell out of here.
Like you're just so lucky that I don't want to kill you right now because I really super could.
Yeah. I know. I'm just wanting him to say the right thing that'll justify me murdering him. Like what?
Yeah.
What? And real quick, another one that I pick up that I'm not sure if y'all do, but Crime Syndicate. This is really fun. This is just classic superhero. Flip the script. It's Earth 3 superheroes. So they're all bad guys on Earth 3. And this was like them all meeting each other again. So it's a 6-issue miniseries. This was a 3rd issue. It kind of wrapped up like the short first story arc. So it looks like a good halfway point. The team is together. They were battling Starro. What a twist. They're the bad guy. Starro was a good guy. He was coming to Earth because he needed help against the Green Lantern Corps, who are intergalactic bad guys in this, but it's really fun. And in each issue, they've been giving us a backup origin story. It's not like the overpriced books that give us a backup story that's trash. It's just included in the regular page count and the regular price tag of $3.99. And in this book, we got Superwoman's backstory, who's Donna Troy, and they twisted a story. Diana's already dead. Trevor comes to the island. It goes bad for Trevor. She kills him just to establish her place to her mom to show that she is ruthless and capable of leading. Really fun. Really, really fun. If you guys just enjoy like those flipping your characters around kind of thing, give it a try, give it a shot. 6 issues will burn by pretty quick, and you'll be able to read the whole thing really fast. So good stuff.
And that concludes one single breath reviews with Mark.
We are Legion.
We are Legion. He's like, the next Batman. We just got to get through all this.
Yeah, well, I know y'all weren't reading it. There's a lot of people that aren't really picking up that book, but I feel like that was a good description.
I mean, the first Crime Syndicate wasn't awful, but it was like I have so many DC books on my list right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm about to. The next Batman is only 4 issues, and I cannot imagine how they're going to tell a decent story with only 2 issues left, being that we've gotten nowhere. They spent the first issue just half the book. You could see the exact conversation, exact panels in Future State, because they were trying to make sure you knew where it stood in regards to that. So, again, like
I feel like that's kind of the issue with Future State too, is that it was successful enough that like they kind of want to continue it, but there's also like a big part of their readership that just didn't pick up books for 2 months because they didn't want them, and so now because it was good enough to continue, they're trying to like make sure that nobody gets lost in the rift,
Yeah, and Burke, the next Batman book wasn't anything great about Future State. That wasn't like that was when people were running out to buy because everyone's like, "Oh, a black Batman, something new, spec." This,
it was
that.
more
The
spec than anything.
Yeah, the story was garbage. No one was like, "Dude, you see what happened in the next Batman? This mom and dad like just strangled him for a second. Like that's all that happened."
I read half of the first issue and pretended like I read the whole thing because I just didn't care.
We could not tell you didn't.
That's as far as we got.
Real quick, y'all have any other books y'all want to flash through real quick?
Speaking of the Syndicate and franchises, This is a hot mess. Let me tell you, this is a hot mess. They have some interesting characters in here, and the Syndicate is in here as well. But I don't really want to waste that much time giving Nick Spencer any kind of glory or whatever. The interiors for the Amazing Spider-Man issue 65 are beautiful, and as what you would expect with Marvel's chief franchise. But again, it's the same thing that we're talking about when we come to DC's franchise, where it's just a whole lot of unnecessary writing. And in this case, it's a lot of unnecessary flicking back and forth through time and Peter dealing with heartbreak. And then where's he going to go next? And the Kingpin trying to get everyone under his thumb that he can bring forward and try and take out Spider-Man, whether it's the daughter of Electro, and a female Dr. Octopus as well. And we do have Peter still, by the way, in the new suit, which I don't mind. But it's a hot mess. Now, the next issue promises to be a little bit better. We're going to get Luke Cage, Wolverine, Iron Fist, and a lot of the Netflix heroes, for those that don't know those characters that well, along with Hawkeye. It could be okay, but like we've been saying about Batman, Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man title, that is just a hot mess. And again, for those that are picking up the Amazing Spider-Man, I don't know if they're reading it in great detail, but I'm presuming they're just picking it up for spec value alone, and you're wasting your money, because none of these characters that are being introduced by Nick Spencer are not going to go anywhere. So yeah, it's heartbreaking. But hey, we're gonna get Spider's Shadow this Wednesday, and thank God it's Chip Zdarsky who's handling it, and we get to see Peter transform more into his own type of Venom.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Ryan, what else you got? Anything else?
The only other book I read was Bliss #7. I don't have a physical of that right now, but it's been good. It seems like it's kind of going to parallel Dexter, if anybody read that or watched that show. The first 5 issues of Bliss were absolutely incredible. 6, 7, and I'm assuming 8 at this point are a little too like meta contextual for themselves. And I hesitate to say preachy, but it's just gotten to this point where like Caitlin Yarsky is like this amazing artist that can depict like literally anything. And it feels like sometimes now, like these last 3 issues, Sean Lewis is like writing what it all means, you know? Almost like the annoying like Stan Lee thing of like, I'm going to write all this text about things you're looking at in this picture. But like in the sense of like,
wow, holy cow, man! Let the man rest in peace.
Whoa!
All right, why don't you?
I'm not saying Stan Lee is not great, but you cannot deny that there are panels where he's writing what you're looking at.
Let's just
like Iron Man flies through the sky. Well, yeah, we see that happening. What's he thinking while he's doing it?
That's what Todd McFarlane does in every Spawn book, current Spawn books. You know, I just read those.
Okay, Todd McFarlane.
Thank you.
My point is, I'm more into.
Took the check mark away from him.
My point is, I'm more into showing, not telling. So whenever there's like a fight between these like 2 metaphorical beings, and all the dialogue, instead of like telling us more about this world, is like literally telling us what the metaphor is that we're looking at. That's the point where I'm like, you're probably dragging this out more than you need to, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me what it all means. That's half the fun. That's why I want to reread it, so I can make sure I find all the meaning. But when you're literally spelling it out in dialogue, I'm like, it's getting a little too so-so for itself. Still visually stunning, though. Still love the book.
I was playing catch up on Spawn last week, kind of just making sure I get, because I missed a few issues since 301, and went and bought those back issues I missed and read through them, and I'm like, dude, this is classic style writing, the way that McFarlane uses the narrator bubbles to describe exactly what is happening. Like, as Spawn gets up, he's tireder than he was in the last panel, and you can hear him talking in that Todd McFarlane lispy voice.
Shame on you guys.
I enjoy it, though. It doesn't bother me, but it caught my attention the style that he was writing it in.
We could spend hours debating Stan Lee. Was Stan Lee a better storyteller, or was he a better character creator? and then those characters just flourished after he stepped away as a writer and became the editor for those particular books that he handled.
The best format for Stan Lee is when he stepped over to DC to do that project Just Imagine with him. When he sat down and he came up with the ideas, and the writers and the artists came to him and said, "Great idea. This is what I wrote, or this is what I drew." And Stan, in classic Stan, said, "Awesome. Do it."
Do
like
it,
he's just-
Excelsior.
Yeah, Excelsior.
And
You
you
know,
run
he
out the
came up-
room
he
like
came-
all like amped up.
Yeah, he came up with the concepts and the ideas because but like in a modern
big
format
picture
of
guy.
writing a book, he's letting the other writers handle it. But that Just Imagine stuff is fantastic.
Out of your mind.
I think I enjoyed those
Out of
books when
your
they were called
mind.
What If. And come on, man, like he gave us this. Oh no, it's not true.
Oh wow,
Like, stop it.
you just ripped you
Right.
just like so hard you just ripped the clothes in
That's
your
right.
drawers.
That's right.
The clothes
I
you're not even wearing.
gotta
just
stand
ripped.
up for Stanley. I gotta stand up for Canada. You guys are on fire tonight. Like ripping about Todd McFarlane. The man just achieved 301 issues as an independent. Like,
Yeah, 317.
like you got,
Yeah.
he's doing something right.
I love Todd McFarlane. Spawn's
And
great,
those books are $2.99.
but still only $2.99. The fact that he has
Yeah.
to say that leads me to believe that it's not going to last much longer.
Now Spawn may be $2.99. Spawn Universe may come out as $4.99. Or we're
That's
going to get
true.
a
That's true.
plethora of variants to make up for the $2.99.
He's gonna
Yeah.
say, "I always promise you, Spawn would never go over $2.99," but I never say anything about Spawn Universe, so $7.99 it is.
Spawn's Universe, Medieval Spawn, the Gunslinger Spawn, the team that's coming out. Yeah, those are all only like $10 a piece.
He's a smart businessman,
Dude, he's fantastic. Like it's fun watching interviews with him or the documentaries with him. He gets you pumped. He really does. He knows how to not only write comics, create comics.
Yeah.
He knows how to sell himself and his characters and make you excited about spending your money on him. And that you got to appreciate that. He's a total package when it comes to the comic book world.
He's a great ambassador for the hobby. Let's be honest. Like all joking aside and everything. If we had more Todd McFarlanes representing this hobby, there'd be way more people into it globally than the community that we do have today.
Yeah.
Dude, the Road to 300 documentary or whatever. Like, whenever he's talking about how like he would go, he was going to college. And then he was playing college ball, so he had to do all the practices and play the games. And he was still like mailing and submitting samples and portfolios the whole time.
Hundreds,
yeah. Just like and he talks about like whenever his wife called him or she's like, I talked to somebody on the phone, he left his number, and he's just like blown away. But it's like when he's telling the story, this is like 1 o'clock in the morning after he's got done with everything else he's had to do in his day. Like the man has to know how to sell himself.
Yeah.
And the name of that documentary was Todd McFarlane, Like Hell I Won't.
Right.
Or something along those lines.
Right.
And it was perfectly titled. And Steve, I'm not highlighting that comic because it's so wrong. I'm not going to click on it.
I can't see it, so you're totally not. You can't do that to me, man. I have no idea what he just put.
All these Burke Family 54 comic hot takes tonight. Stan Lee created every Marvel character ever. Excelsior.
Now, Rob Liefeld is another one that he's amazing for the industry, man. He's got his quirks,
energy,
and that's
man,
part
is
of,
transferable.
Yeah, he's got his
Nobody
quirks.
is as
He's a weird
infectious
guy,
as that guy.
Yeah,
he's totally a good guy. Look at Chris. Look at Chris.
I don't think he's a great artist. And
thank you, Captain America. Thank you.
You're going to pick one Captain America image that wasn't even on a book.
Come on, he doesn't even draw Deadpool good at like right now. All that whole
he's crushing on G.I. Joe, man.
See, I've never been a fan of his artwork, and like I think it's ridiculous that he hasn't really gotten that much better in like 30 years or something. But I think his personality, because he's like larger than himself, I think his personality is attractive to a lot of people, and his energy is transferable. And I don't know. I mean, I think that's something that is good for the industry. I just think he should like stick to cons and you know, be like a fan interaction kind of
He
person.
owned cons in the '90s. He spent like tens of thousands of dollars to bring like real life, like looking cosplay suits with his characters and like
Yeah.
their actual ships they traveled in. He had built and everything, and paid to have them moved around. But dude, I love '90s artwork. I absolutely love '90s artwork. I love Jim Lee's work from the '90s, McFarlane's. I love Liefeld's work from the '90s. I love '90s artwork. And I don't know. It has a very nostalgic place in my heart.
To me,
I find
Liefeld,
Liefeld like he gets like great poses, but they're like stiff as cardboard cutouts, and they have no feet.
to me, Liefeld was always a better artist and storyteller. Like when he switched to Image, I would have thought the only or that of the original group that left Marvel and DC and started Image, the only one whose artwork I thought was worse than Liefeld was probably Valentino, and he only ended up doing that 4-issue miniseries with Shadowhawk, and then moved up in the corporate ranks of Image. And then, but Liefeld, he started trying to do like storytelling with Supreme and some of the others, Youngblood, and it just for me it just didn't click. However, I did think it was beautiful work. But Ryan hit the nail on the head. It hasn't changed one bit since then. And yeah, he did that Captain America pose, whatever. Like I like poking fun at that one. But all kidding aside from that one, like Jim Lee's work has changed. Even Will Sportasio and Dale Keown and Todd McFarlane. His work hasn't changed that much either, other than the fact that he rarely picks up a
But
real
he's gotten
pencil
like better
anymore.
at the storytelling and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Like his writing and stuff, I think, has improved. His artwork is slightly better.
But yeah, that whole Image crew, like you can see a progression, except for Liefeld stuff. But again, to each their own, man. That's why we got chocolate and vanilla, right? Liefeld
Vanilla.
is that right, and Liefeld is that one of those ambassadors for comic books that there seems to be very little middle ground with them. You either love the man, or you dislike the man with a lot of fury for whatever reason. Like I don't go to my LCS thinking I got to get that new Liefeld variant, or I got to get that whatever, as opposed to, oh, that's a Jim Lee cover, I'm gonna pick that up, or that's a Todd McFarlane cover, or that's Capullo, or my personal favorite, that's Arthur Adams, I got to pick that up.
So real quick, we are going to be bouncing out here in a minute. I got to work tomorrow, and we kind of talked a little Jupiter's Legacy at the beginning. So I figured we'll just absolutely rip in.
Can I make a comment to that?
Yeah.
So, Mark, you may know what I'm about to flex. I don't know what he's talking about, saying that Marvel steals DC characters, but clearly this character from Marvel was around
it's a Marvel book.
First. She was first. I don't know like how they come up with the whole idea of Wonder Woman. Like clearly this person was first. So I want nothing to do with that conversation.
What's that gal?
Like whatever. Like clearly this character came up with the whole golden tiara first and the shield, and like over sexualize her chest and everything. But yeah, like no.
Y'all should watch a documentary on Marsden, who created Wonder Woman. He was like a huge feminist and a women's rights activist. Actually married to 2 women, and they pretty much came up with the idea channeled through him. So it's if people like try to get down on Wonder Woman for being sexualized or the bondage style that you'd see on the covers, that came from women. That was from women that were doing that. But yeah, they do rip off each other a lot. You'll see a lot more of it coming from one direction over the other. A lot of times, Man-Thing did beat Swamp Thing out to the shelves, but that was literally rushed out for that sheer purpose of beating Swamp Thing out to the shelves. They're like a month apart. Yeah.
And I don't think Deadpool. I don't think Deadpool was ever meant to be anything big. It was just a 1 or 2 issue type of villain, and it was Liefeld and Fabian doing a little spoof of Deathstroke, but it took other creators to take
I was gonna
Deadpool
say, like,
to
Deadpool
the
was
real point, like,
unlikable until what, the late 90s?
right?
But
And
then, like,
who
Christopher
was
Priest,
it?
they kind of like brought him into the
Right, or Bun too? Like there was a couple of writers that really took
like
Deadpool and
96, 97, something like that.
turned him into the franchise what he is. But,
And real quick, speaking of characters ripping off characters, one character that has never been ripped off because he's the top dog, and that's the big man with the S on his chest, Superman, the granddaddy of them all. And for those out there who want to crap on Superman and crap on the concept of it, oh, he's too overpowered, oh, he's too Boy Scout. If you want to see what it looks like when an overpowered person is getting hit by someone like Darkseid, go watch Jupiter's Legacy. You see what taking a
Oh
hit
my
actually does to
god!
these people. Like just because he gets up doesn't mean they're not affected. And also the whole the Boy Scout crap that people are so, oh, it's just not appealing. Go look at what it looks like when somebody holds to those values against all odds, against everyone pushing back from the villains to the younger heroes to close friends to family, because that's what Jupiter's Legacy is about. When you have that one Boy Scout that knows how important these rules, these codes are to follow and why, and you get to see it play out and get to see who's still standing and who's not and what's important with those values. It was amazing because that's what it
Oh,
is.
that
Mark Millar took Superman and what he stands for and says, let's actually play the tape out. Let's actually go
let's
down that road.
challenge that.
Let's challenge it. Oh my
yeah,
Yes.
God, it's so good.
yeah, and
Yeah.
even
And that fight
with
in that second episode, oh my god, like
yeah,
it's everything you see happening like in the DC animation fights, like how cool those are, but like actually getting it right in live action, like oh my god, it's so cool whenever he just like sidesteps and would just face first
yeah.
into the ground, and oh my god. I was like, this is amazing. Like, why can't we get this on the big screen, you know?
And we've heard like Batman tell Jason Todd this whole no kill thing, blah blah blah. But it's bigger than just not killing. And hearing it from it's kind of like you hear your loved ones tell you something 1,000 times, but sometimes hearing it from somebody else just hits you a different way. Hearing these characters go through this conversation from their vantage point that isn't Marvel, that isn't DC, that their world is a lot different, but it's still the same principles. It's still the same code. Like this is a must watch because it's so much more than just surface level. Just man, I can't recommend it enough. And we're going to be talking a lot about this show on this channel coming up. Brian is Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, it's intriguing to see that the main character
I know Chris can't keep a straight face on that one.
oh, it's killing me. Anyway, so it's wonderful to see the main character continuously trying to drive home to his family the code, and his own wife, who's also superpowered, struggles with it internally. You know, wants to keep her marriage happy, wants to try and keep the family together, even though the family is falling apart. And it's all because the dad will not let go of the fact that their Justice League, which is called the Union, needs to adhere to the code that was created back in the 1930s. And everyone that's a part of this union today is saying it doesn't work. The super villains, the villains are know that they're not, that we're not going to murder them, so they can get away with a lot more. And we need to change. We need to adapt to the times. And in the first episode, we see the main character's son, like punch a friggin' ashtray into the head of the main supervillain,
Yeah.
and drops them. And you would think that his dad, who the Superman character, would say thank you because he was about to lose his life. And in the end, the dad is upset with him and grounds him and says, no, you're going to work the farm for a while. Like, you need to think about what you did. This is not how we handle this. We turn these villains over to the law. We turn them over for justice. They have the right to go through the court system. And in the end, it's the big struggle, and you get to see what the Union, the birth of the Union, and the ideal of the code, and then you also get the time jump back and forth, what's happening today, how it started. It's wonderful. It's a great piece of storytelling. Mark Millar can do no wrong at this point. Let's be honest.
Yeah, knocked it out of the park.
And you get to see like you get to learn the main characters and what their powers are. You get introduced to the children of the original Union and see how they're struggling with the idea of this code continuously being pushed down their throat. And you get to see like what's actually happening behind the scenes, the dark shadows that are pushing against the Union. And yeah, so that I guess that's episode 3 and 4 next week when we talk about it. But
every episode is better than the one before. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. They just keep building, and what it is, it's a 2-part story. Like you said, it's a flashback in a modern time era. And the flashback is the origin story of the whole thing of them getting powers, and the modern story is basically a murder mystery. Like episode 1 lays out a murder plot that they're trying to figure out through the whole thing. There's just so much to it. It really is, but I can't stay on much longer. I gotta head out of here.
My final thought on it is like when that first episode starts and you meet like a Superman character, my first thought was, I don't know how good this is gonna be, because we've gotten like so many Superman deconstruction shows lately, you know, like you have The Boys and we just got Invincible, and I was like, well, I mean, I haven't watched The Boys, so I don't know how it compares directly,
Superman.
Yeah, you know, there's just like a ton of like deconstruction superhero stuff coming out of everywhere right now, you know, and I was like, at the beginning of that first episode, I was like, I don't know. I mean, I think if you're on the fence because you're kind of tired of like deconstruction superhero stuff, like it will surprise you, because this is doing it in a completely different way than like all the other stuff, you know, like this is a really just another really cool take, but it's completely different from Invincible or The Boys or anything else out there that I've seen that's doing deconstruction, because it's really doing it more with reverence than spoofiness, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really cool take on it.
And there's no camp in it as well. It's not campy at all. And there's almost the slight underlying tone of, is the Superman character insane? Like, is he in his right mind? And is this possible insanity? Everyone is just in on it, and everyone thinks it's okay. And yeah, it's great storytelling, and it's wonderfully acted too. And the locations, let me tell you how beautiful the locations of this TV show is shot. Let me tell you, I don't know where it was made. I know where it was made, but
as Americans, we're all just like living our travel dreams vicariously through this show right now.
But yeah, it's all joking aside, for those who haven't watched it, do the three of us a favor, go watch it, and we'll talk about it again next week with the same amount of fervor that we're talking about it now. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I'll definitely finish the whole season for a second run through.
Yep,
absolutely will. It was that entertaining that there's a lot of great dialogue in it. Like I'm talking a lot of emotional stuff, like between family, between friends. There's a lot that just hits. And dude, when some of these moments go down, you're just like, okay. And there's so many different dynamics in the show. Like their family is fractured from the start. But one thing I want to point out that I thought was just amazing. These guys, when you meet them, like at the start of their lives per the show, they're all American tycoons in the steel industry. They are the 1%, but they come into power. They come into absolute power. No one can tell them nothing. And where does he end up? Where does he put himself? On a farm.
On a farm.
It just, oh my God. Loved it.
There's a lot of underlying tones to the farming community throughout the entire storyline that we go through each episode. They're like, well, I don't want to get into it, but there's
you are way beyond where I'm at now.
Yeah,
we'll break this down a whole lot more next week. We don't want to spoil it for Ryan.
Sorry for being a regular person.
No, we said
Sorry
we're
that
only gonna
damn
do 2
life just keeps
episodes.
getting in the way.
Yeah, it's not like it's Mother's Day or anything, but yeah, we'll dive in and do some breaking down of the episodes and everything next week. Just really, it happened fast for a lot of people I know because, like I said, I wasn't even aware of it until Steve mentioned it to me Thursday that it's going to be coming out the next day. I'm like, I think I've heard of this, and I was completely blindsided by it, and it was such a great surprise. But yeah,
Yeah,
be
pretty
sure
much
to
the
tune
same for
in
me.
next Sunday, and we'll get into it in more detail. We'll actually talk episode plot points, character points, stuff like that. And check out the Comic Vets channel. He's got Mystery Mail Call Monday coming out tomorrow, I'm assuming. We got a Mystery Box Monday.
I do. I'll give everyone just a quick hit. It is a torpedo box, and it features the first appearance of Carol Danvers.
Oh, yay.
It's content.
Big Captain America fan, Captain Marvel fan over here, guys. Marvel or
Mainstream.
bust.
Yeah.
Marvel or bust.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a Marvel grand prize, but yeah.
Okay, I thought you said Carol Danvers.
Her first appearance was in Marvel's Superheroes, the second appearance of Marvel.
Did you win it?
Find out
I'm
tomorrow.
just kidding. I'm seeing how quick you were. Ryan, what's cooking on the cosmic campfire tomorrow?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm gonna drop something,
Awesome.
but I haven't figured that part out yet. But I did drop. We're like 6 days into the week, so yeah, like Monday through Saturday, I've dropped something every single day. So that's been a pretty decent run. Actually, I dropped something today, so Monday through Sunday. So got to drop something tomorrow, right? Definitely stuff coming out Tuesday and Thursday, and then I have to figure out life beyond there. So we'll see what happens. But check out the channel. I just dropped a 200, or I guess a channel update 2.0 after we did the 200 subscriber celebration. So those prizes will be going out tomorrow. And check out the channel update because it kind of talks about where we're at and where we're headed. So
yeah, I really like the information in the description about the channel that you give in that. Like it was very personal, and I like that about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Very well
It
done.
was solid.
Congratulations on 200, my man. Mark, congratulations on 700, and you're almost 800, I believe now.
I was gonna say, just say congratulations on 800 because by the time you get it out, we might already be there.
By the time I finish this sentence, he might be towards 950. But
right.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
Well,
well,
I
guys,
appreciate everyone stopping by. I did have the new comic book day video drop this Saturday, so that's relevant all the way up until Wednesday. So be sure to check it out. There's a lot of good stuff coming out. There's a lot of crappy stuff coming out. I talk about it both. And then tomorrow I'll have a really fun mail haul. I constantly have mail coming in where I just kind of let it pile up at this point. But I got a really exciting bookend that I really loved. Hey, there's Joel the Geek. What's going on, bud? He just scored some books off of the Legion of Comics page. That one. Yeah. But I got some really cool stuff in the mail. And yeah, excited to show it. I actually already displayed one of them, but I had it set right outside the camera where you can't see it. But you can see it tomorrow on the video. And then I got some stuff from Nick's Kicks and Comics that came in. And yeah. Then Tuesday I'll be going live around lunchtime. Not sure the exact time. Never know the exact time. The kids really determine that. So yeah, content every day. Just hit those notification bells. You'll know when it drops. And like Ryan mentioned, we're almost at 800 subscribers. So as soon as I get there, I'll drop that 800 subscriber thing that I have planned for it. That's it's the same thing but very different. But it's the same as something that has been going on that I'm going to participate in. But it's going to be different, but the same. So you don't want to miss out. So
2.0.
Until next time, yeah, 2.0. So until
2.0.
next time, guys, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.